Sometimes the biggest, most complex stories are hiding in just a single sentence. And in this explainer, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to deconstruct one line of text that unpacks an entire medical mystery, one piece at a time. So let's follow that first clue. It all kicks off with a question, and it's about a feeling I bet a lot of us have had: a simple physical pain. How can something that feels so ordinary end up pointing to something so much deeper? A huge systemic problem that's completely hidden from view? Well, that's the journey we're about to trace, from one little symptom all the way to a life-changing diagnosis. All right, so every investigation has to start somewhere. For this medical mystery, it doesn't begin with some big dramatic event, but with this quiet, persistent feeling that is just incredibly relatable. Yep, that's it. Not some crazy injury, just a nagging pain in the ribs. I mean, you'd probably think, oh, I pulled a muscle, or maybe I just slept wrong. It's the kind of thing you might just try to ignore, right? But in this story, that little pain, it was the very first domino to fall. So what was this pain really? Well, the first major clue completely flipped the investigation on its head. It shifted the focus away from the muscles and deep into the nervous system. The pain was actually identified as something called the MS hug, or in Hebrew, hibuk trashet. Now, that name is pretty misleading. It is not a comforting embrace, not at all. It's a sensation of tightness or pain around your torso, and it's caused by nerve damage. So, all of a sudden, a simple rib pain becomes a direct signal from the central nervous system. And that discovery just blows the whole thing wide open. It opens up a whole new line of questioning. I mean, if the nerves are sending out these kinds of signals, what else is happening just beneath the surface? What is going on with the body's most fundamental, most critical processes? So the next step in this diagnostic journey moves away from what the person was feeling and into what the actual data was showing. We are leaving the world of subjective sensations and we're entering the realm of hard science. The clues were no longer just on the surface. To find the next piece of this puzzle, the investigation had to go microscopic, analyzing the actual chemistry of the body's own transportation system, the bloodstream. And boom, there it was. An analysis of blood gases showed abnormal levels of carbon dioxide, and that is a major red flag. It means the body isn't breathing effectively. It's not getting rid of CO2 properly. This isn't just a number on a chart. It's a clear sign that the body's entire engine is running inefficiently and dangerously. And this raises a really critical question. If the body is holding on to too much carbon dioxide, what essential element is it failing to absorb? This chemical imbalance pointed directly to the final and, frankly, the most urgent problem: an oxygen deficiency. The body was, in effect, being starved of the one thing it needs to power every single cell. So think about that. We've gone from a simple pain in the ribs all the way to a fundamental crisis of survival happening at the cellular level. Okay, so we've got all these pieces now: a strange sensation, a chemical imbalance, a critical deficiency. But how do they all connect? How does one thing lead to the next? Let's actually map it out. This diagnostic chain reaction shows you exactly how it all connects. See, it starts with the rib pain. That leads to the diagnosis of the MS hug, which tells us it's a neurological symptom. This neurological issue then affects the muscles you need for breathing, which leads to high CO2 in the blood. And of course, that inefficient breathing results in an oxygen deficiency. Every single domino knocks over the next, and they all lead back to one central question: could all of this be caused by multiple sclerosis? According to the source, the theory is that MS could be the single root cause, the origin point for this entire complex chain reaction. It's a powerful and, honestly, a pretty daunting explanation for how everything is connected. But beyond all the science, beyond the diagnostic chain, there is a person at the center of this story. How does it even feel to process all of this at once? The source ends with just a few words. In Hebrew, k'tzet b'shak kerega, a bit in shock right now. In one single moment, a journey that started with a simple pain in the side culminates in this cascade of information that changes everything. And all you can say is, you're in shock. This one diagnostic journey really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many of the things we feel, physically or emotionally, are just the first domino in a much longer chain that we just haven't uncovered yet?